How's it going, everyone? Today is the 29th of July, 2021. I'm going to skip the charts today because it was a busy day for me. Plus, I still have some other personal stuff I need to get to today. I ended up closing out pretty much all of my weekly trades from this week today. I'll go over those in more detail in a weekly review video that I'll probably do tomorrow or maybe on Saturday. But then for today, I opened up 5 different trades. I did CCL, Pinterest, AMD, ChargePoint, and Plug. Plug here at the bottom was a monthly contract for 50 days, and then Pinterest here is just a one-day play on earnings that I'm shooting for. So in theory, tomorrow I'll close that out for a winner. If not, I'll have to look at rolling or maybe taking a loss. And then the other 3 trades were 8 days DTE for next week on the weekly expiration. Moving over here, CCL, got a 32-cent credit. Pinterest, I got 70 cents. AMD, $1.05. ChargePoint, 49 cents. And Plug, I got $1.65. Remember, Plug again is on the monthly. And then the buying power for most of these is pretty low. Oops, CCL's 745. Remember, all these are, I got 2 contracts on all these. I even have 3 on ChargePoint. So, divide these out. 745 divided by 2, 1360, 2640, 1065, 630. Plug, on that monthly is really nice. It only takes 630 for $1.65 credit on 2 contracts. So that's only like $315 buying power for each contract. All right, moving on to the Delta column here. My system is pretty dang simple. Roughly, I go at the 30 Delta or less. And it just depends, obviously, on, how aggressive I want to be or what kind of premiums I'm getting. If the IV's higher, then, you can go farther out to like a 15 Delta here, like on Pinterest, I collected $70 here on Pinterest at the 15 Delta. It has a high IV, it's higher stock price, but then in comparison, this is the 29 Delta here on ChargePoint, CHPT, and I only collected $49 on the 29 Delta, right? And ChargePoint is for 8 days, where Pinterest is just for 1 day because of the earnings. So it all just kind of depends on what your strategy is, but no matter what my strategy is for, if it's 1 day earnings plays or a weekly or a monthly, roughly I'm at the 30 Delta, give or take. There's no hard rule there. It's just kind of where I'm looking, especially on the weeklies. It seems like I end up more times or not, 30 Delta or under. Now I will say with Plug here on this monthly contract, I'm exploring taking a little different approach to the monthlies. Basically, what I'm trying to do with all these trades is to eliminate how much the buying power will fluctuate. Because almost all these trades, I do naked puts. Sometimes I do naked calls, which AMD, I forgot to mention that. This is a naked call. AMD popped real big here, I guess after earnings or something, or I don't know. To me, it's just way overbought. So I'm shorting that into next week at the 113 call. Anyways, going back to the monthly here, talking on Plug, that happened to be the 32 Delta for Plug, which was essentially an at the money strike. And when I compared to, if I was wrong and this went against me, this 315 per contract, I have 2 contracts, so that's 630. The 315 per contract would only increase to like, this one's real low and it might not be the greatest example, but it would increase to like $500 if it went against me per contract. Whether it was the 50 Delta or the 75 Delta or like the 99 Delta, the most it would ever require was like $500 in buying power per contract. Basically what it boils down to is that the closer you get to the at the money strike, the required buying power kind of maxes out. It'll go up a little bit. For instance, I don't know, like on Pinterest here or something, if I would go at the money on the monthly, it would maybe require $2,000 at the money, and that would be like probably a 45 Delta, give or take. Well, if I would go out to the 30 Delta that I normally go to, it might only require like $700. So that's a big swing if I start at the 30 Delta and it only requires $700 and then all of a sudden it goes against me and now my 30 Delta turns into like the 50 Delta and now it requires like $2,000. Like that's a huge swing in your buying power, right? So what I'm experimenting with is if I sell more like at the money, and then if it goes against me, it doesn't really affect my buying power, and instead of going from like 700 to 2000, I would start at 2000 and it might go from 2000 to like 2200. So it's only a very slight bump in buying power requirements when you start at the money versus farther out of the money. And the reason I'm doing this is because that's how you can get into trouble, is if you aren't tracking your available buying power, or if you just kind of get over leveraged or whatever. I roughly leave about half of my buying power available, but that's always because in the past I was working on monthly contracts and I would sell, somewhere around the 20 deltas for a naked put. And the problem is when that 20 delta would swing against you and all of a sudden you're like at the money at the 50 delta, your buying power, like I said in the past, could go from like $1,000 to like $3,000, right? So that's a huge swing in your buying power. And so that's why I always have to leave the buying power available. So I'm just trying to utilize all of my buying power to the best extent. So I might have to wait longer to get in trades, but then I could be utilizing my full account or most of my account, right? So anyways, this is definitely an experimental process. I wouldn't really recommend following along with plug here. I mean, well, this plug trade is fine actually. It's a 32 delta, it's more aggressive. Yeah, you'll probably see some other trades here coming on where I'm probably like in the 40 delta, give or take. And that's why I'm doing it. I'm trying to limit the movement of the buying power against me. All right, enough of that side tangent. Just to wrap it up here, all these trades starting up here at CCL, I have a 71% pop, 80% on pins, 86 AMD, 72 charge point, and 65 on plug. AMD here, I said earlier that I was shorting that with the naked call, and I'll probably take profits earlier, somewhere around the 50% range. I've been letting most of these contracts kind of play out, and I've been cashing in around like 80%, give or take. I mean, yeah, 54 down to 6 cents, 55 down to 10, 50 down to 10, 38 to 8, 105 to 20. So yeah, all these weeklies in the past, I've been letting go a lot farther, like 80% of my max profit, where with these naked calls, I usually don't let them run that long. And I'll go somewhere, 50% of my max profit or whatever, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, I've already talked longer than I thought I was going to or wanted to, so I need to wrap this up and get going with the rest of my day. As usual, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I will catch you in the next video.